Okay, in today's class I am going to explain object constructor in JavaScript. As I told you that these are all the free classes which are being conducted thrice of a week, 3 days of a week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sharply at 8 p.m. in June. Okay, these classes are being conducted to rural students who are away of the network centers and they are not afford to expensive classes. Okay, so these are very useful classes. If you feel that you can attend my classes, I have shared my Zoom link, okay, in all platforms. Okay, let us see in JavaScript what is the object constructor and how to use it. Object constructor functions. Okay, sometimes generally what happen, we need to create many objects of the same type. Okay, so if I want to create many objects of the same time, that moment I need to use the constructor function. Okay, so to create an object type, we use object constructor function to create many objects of the same type. Okay, so generally it is a good practice to keep the constructor function's name with an uppercase letter. Uppercase first letter. The first case letter must be the object constructor function must be kept with the first letter must be kept with the first letter. This is the first letter. So object person, so its first letter must be uppercase. Now this is the function object constructor function. It is to be start with function keyword, then object name. These are what object parameters. Okay, object parameters. Now here this keyword, it has no any value. It refers to the object. Whenever object is created, that object will be referred by this keyword. So this means object. Okay, new whatever the object created, dot first name is equal to first. Okay, first is what, these are parameters. Okay, these are what parameters means, one type of your variables. These are variables, and these are what, these are your attributes, means properties of the object. First name, last name, age, eye color. Okay, so now let us see how to keep this code in script. Okay, how to keep this code. I told you that this is JavaScript code, so always I told you that the code must be kept in JavaScript code must be kept in script. Script end tag, script start tag, constructor function for person objects. So this is the constructor function. This is the function which is inside of this function 4 parameters, means variables have been defined here, and then this is a keyword which will refer to the object. Okay, now I want to create the object for this function by this constructor function. Now generally we use constant keyword, otherwise a new keyword, to create an object. Here object is my father. Okay, this is what function name, means constructor name. This is the constructor name. Here if I want to create an object, object name is my father is equal, this is what your function. Constructor, it is a special method. Okay, it is like a function. Okay, method and function both are, generally method will be considered under class, function it will be defined without any class. Okay, so now for this person, for every variable assigned, first name is what, John, last name Doe, age for this variable 50 is I, blue color. Okay, so these are the values assigned for this variables. These are the values. Okay, one object is created, that is what, with the help of the object is what, my father. Okay, for this my father object, with the help of this constructor, the values have been assigned for these variables values. So now if you want to display any A's, otherwise all the values, that moment we can use get element by id method. Okay, for the inner HTML attribute, whatever you assign, that will be displayed on the screen. So this is one way, and then it is only one object created here. If you want to create more objects, so that moment we need to go for here. I told you that this has no any value. This will become the new object. When object is created, this keyword will refer the new object which is created. So now we can use no new person. Okay, new person is what? This person is a constructor function. So we can use this new function with the new keyword to create many new person objects. So let us see how. So my father is what? Is an object. Okay, with the this constructor function. Okay, one object is created, my father. One more object, my mother, is created, and with the constructor, this is the constructor function, and values assigned. One more object created, my sister. My father, my mother, my sister, myself, all are objects, but the objects are having similar type of values. First name, last name, age, eye color. First name, last name, age, eye color, like that. So how many objects I have created here? 4 objects with the help of this constructor function. Okay, so now let us practice this code. First, one object, I want to create one object first. Okay, so here you remove this total code and we will practice. We will remove this. Okay, first of all we need to create the HTML code. Under the body header section we need to define. For the paragraph section, id, that is to be defined. Id value, id attribute. For the id attribute, one value to be assigned, that will be kept inside of the get element by id method to find out the HTML element. By this inner HTML property attributes, okay, the value will be displayed on the screen. So first of all, inside of the script, the constructor function to be construction function which is to be created for the objects. Okay, so this is the constructor function. The constructor function must be with function keyword and constructor name. These are one type of variables which will hold these variables value to be passed to the constructor. Okay, so whenever object is created, so like that, so many objects we can create. Okay, now first of all, so I need to, where should I go first? So this is the general code. I have told you that. Okay, general code inside of the script. So you delete this inside of the script. This is the total. So inside of the script, so here we define the JavaScript code. JavaScript code written. JavaScript code always written inside of these scripts. That's why JavaScript is a scripting language to create the dynamic and interactive web pages. So this is the statement, okay, kept with the double forward slash, two forward slash. So it is a statement, it is a comment that will not be read by your browser. So first of all, I need to create one function, that is what? Constructor function. Constructor function. Okay, we need to create the constructor function first. How to create constructor? First function with the keyword function and then constructor name. Always I told you that